I got a cough drop from one of
Thank you so much for joining us today for the Pastor's Potluck Podcast. Here on the Pastor's Potluck, it's similar to a normal potluck where you might get something that you want and there may be something that you just want to pass up altogether. And that's okay. There's something here for everybody. Our goal here is to encourage you and maybe in the process entertain you. If you're ready, let's dig in. Oh, welcome to the Buffalo Chicken Dip Podcast. That's you got to talk in the microphone.
Sorry, I was trying to keep it away from my mouth because we're trying something new on this one.
Yeah. I think with two of us in food, and as long as we're not reviewing stuff, it should go a lot better because we got some good talking points.
Well, we need what we need is the producer to just mute us whenever we take a bite.
Because it's gonna be crunchy.
Yeah, because we chose the crunchiest food on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
To do this potluck.
Yeah, I know. I don't. You look.
It's all good though.
Hey,
like when I get to the cookies and the
stuff.
brownies, it'll be all right.
Yeah. Just pinch on the mouse. There you go. Sorry. We're having a good day today.
I am having a good day.
We had Bible study this morning. I ate a brownie for breakfast.
I had
eating
Verse Watch.
buffalo chicken dip for lunch.
Yeah, my sermon's almost finished, and it's like Wednesday at noon.
What?
Yeah, this is the craziest thing. Yesterday, start off the sermon prep week, and I go, I don't know, like, with the topic that we have, I'm not going to share what it is because there's a part in it where I'm going to ask everyone what they think it is. But on this topic, literally, you could go anywhere in the Bible that you want. It's like the whole Bible is about this topic.
Yeah.
And so I was like, how do you just whittle this down to like choose one thing to talk about when it's so vast? Like you could do a 5-year study on this. And so like when I whittled it down yesterday and finally found the passage that the Lord was leading us to, then like today I'm sitting here like what I'll do is once I pick it, I'll read it, and then I'll go to commentaries and I'll start seeing what other people have said about it and finding articles and all this. Well, like I'm in the reading commentaries phase of my study, and like I just keep like getting this like, hey, just start writing it. Just start writing the sermon. Just stop reading. Like you don't need any commentary on this. It's going to be really, really simple and basic what you need to say. And so I just opened up a Word document and just started typing. I'm already 3.5 pages deep.
Yeah.
On what better be a 4-page sermon.
Yeah. What hopefully is a 4-page.
And I've still got like 6 verses that I have to talk about that I haven't even got to. So it was just like, it was flowing out. Like it was weird. Because normally I'll be like, what I do is I study the passage until I'm ready to write.
Yeah.
This time I didn't even make it through a full commentary before I felt like the Spirit go, you're ready to write. Like go write this down before you start forgetting everything that I'm sitting here saying to you. I was like, all right, I'll do it. And so like that, if I can get a sermon written on Wednesday, it is the greatest of weeks. Given the fact that I wrote the vast majority of the good stuff this past Sunday's sermon on Sunday morning from being sick last week. Like you all saw that sermon.
Yeah. Like
a lot of it I had put together, but like the best parts that tied everything together came Sunday morning because I had been sick.
Well, and it's interesting too, like for your position with having to prepare sermons for, 44 of the Sundays out of the year that you preach?
Yeah.
44 to 46, somewhere around there. What I'm realizing is that for lead pastors who do a lot of the teaching, there's a huge reliance on God and trusting Him to give you stuff. And sometimes it could just be a Sunday morning. It could be a Saturday at midnight.
I would like it to be by Wednesday at noon every week, but that's just not. God won't do stuff my way.
Yeah.
So I just have learned to be okay with that. The other part of it, and this is, again, I feel like every time I try to explain to people about what it's like to be the lead pastor, like it always feels a little bit like, hey, would you feel sorry for me, please? But that's not like this is just like peek into my life. This is also like one of the roles. You have a similar role to this. That like if I'm sick, I just have to work anyways. Like that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Like I was sick as a dog last week, which is why I didn't get the good parts of the sermon written until Sunday morning. But it's like there was a time on Thursday that I still felt so bad, and I had not started my sermon. Normally Thursday morning I'm like putting a bow on it, ready to write questions or whatever. That there was a time Thursday that I was like, how much do you think Cheryl will freak out if you message her and tell her that she has to preach the final week of For the Future?
Oh, yeah.
On the last day that I know that she is scheduled to work this week.
Yeah.
Because it was that bad. And it's like, well, no, you actually just don't have that option. You're just going to suck it up and you're going to figure it out. Like, that's like most jobs you can go, hey, no, I can put off, that till next week. Or it's like, no, Sunday comes every 7 days. That's just the way that it is. Like,
yeah.
I remember one Sunday our worship pastor got sick one morning. This is like probably 10 years ago now. And it was that type of sickness on a Sunday morning that like he couldn't show up, period.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Like, it's so funny. Like, cause it feels like we don't even like we don't have that option. Like we don't get to say, next week.
Yeah.
But like,
Pastor Anna, did you somehow get better at singing?
Do you know how to play the guitar and follow this track that, I've been working on for a month and a half? Like, you know how to, it's like, no. Like, I could have asked someone to preach last week, but, like, all that does is, like, would stress other people out. That it's like, no, you're being a baby.
Yeah.
Just do your job, right? It's just, like... And, like, it happened Friday night finally. I was finally, like, well enough Friday night. It was funny. I kept having this weird sense because the issue was in my ear that I was going to have a hard time hearing from the Lord because my ear was messed up.
You're
because
so practical, Scott.
I know, because I was praying all week, and I'm like, would you just tell me what to say?
Yeah.
Because, like, truthfully, I felt like after the Don't Stop and Settle week of that series, I was like, we're good, man. Like, we've said it. I can't cast this vision any more clearly than what I already have. You get it. We're trying to pay off debt. You're either going to do it or you're not.
Yeah.
So that's what I was like telling the Lord. I'm like, so what do you want me to say? Like, what is there left to say? And then like all week long, it was like nothing. And then finally Thursday morning, I figured out the text. I was like, okay, I'm seeing that. But then I still felt so bad Thursday. I like typed something up and sent it out to all of you all and asked for feedback, and nobody responded to it. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'm just gonna go into the weekend. I'm like thinking literally. I'm like, truth be told, I hope this language doesn't bother people, but like I was like, this is a turd. Like just what I wrote is a turd, but it's what I have. So we're gonna go with it. And then like Friday night, I start getting this idea of like bringing Megan up, doing something about her birthday, but then also just sharing like from my heart about why we love the church, and that changed the whole message from like it was the original message was something like, hey, just say like do your next steps thing,
just do it, Nike.
And then like Friday night it was like, hey, if you do this thing with Megan about how you proposed to her right there, you can change the whole sermon to be about saying yes and how, ups and downs and journeys. And that's where the whole, like, I already had the idea about your starting point is not your ending point, but I just had no mental clarity last week to flesh that out whatsoever. Yeah. And so it all happened Friday night. And then I was like, I'm going to do this on Saturday. I'm going to rewrite this sermon on Saturday. And I didn't. I had to go. After being sick all week, had to go work at the concession stand for the Little League for like...
all day.
It was 9 hours.
Yeah, that's all day.
Yeah, it was 9 hours. So like before that, I didn't do... Like it was early in the morning. When I got home, it was after 8, and I'm exhausted, and I smell like fryers. And I was like, I'm like, I guess, Lord, you're just going to have to fix this in the morning.
Yeah.
So I got in here to the office. So like, and this is bad, like, because the sermon slides aren't finished because my sermon's not finished.
Yeah.
The notes online aren't finished because my notes aren't finished.
Yeah.
Like nobody has anything that they need to do their jobs either because of, like, I held the whole process up, and I hadn't written life group questions. It was just a mess of a week. So that was a really long way to say I'm so excited that I'm almost finished with my sermon.
Yeah, I think you took the scenic route on that one, dude.
I did. That's what I'm doing.
I didn't want to say anything. I was like, how am I going to transition this into what we're talking about?
I'll transition it. That was rant. Gosh, I do that every time I'm on here.
Yeah, you do.
That was random, but that's just an insight into maybe why I'm so talkative right now, because like I can feel this.
Yeah.
We might have to do like some podcasts on this. I can feel it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday when the sermon's not finished. I feel like I'm carrying around a weight that goes, you're not allowed to enjoy life until this is done. That's what it feels like every single week.
Yeah.
And the minute that I put the finishing touches on that sermon, I haven't even preached it yet. It's just done. It's in Dropbox. Everybody can start doing what they need to do with it.
Yeah.
It literally like is that feeling like if you've been underwater for a long time and you come up and you go,
oh yeah,
like you can breathe. That's what it feels like every Thursday. That's why, like, if you encounter me on Sunday through Wednesday or half the day Thursday, which subsequently is my work week, it feels like meeting one person. And if you meet that person Thursday night or Friday or even Saturday, it's like,
yeah,
hey, there's something different about this guy.
yeah.
Right?
I'm walking on sunshine.
Like, I think as my kids get older, I'll even be able to ask them. Like, I bet they'll be able to say that they can notice it.
Yeah.
And that is a very weird thing, because like anytime I have people preach for me, especially if it's their first time ever preaching at Southridge, and they have to preach 2 sermons, like the amount of people that go, I don't know how you do this every week. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's what God wants me to do. It's all good. I like doing it. But
I like doing it too.
Yeah, it's what it is.
Except by second service, sometimes for me, like I practice and rehearse like some of the stuff I want to say, but by second service, my mouth just don't work as well.
Yeah,
I wish people.
I wanted to laugh at you this Sunday because
I tried not to bring it up.
You talked really long between the 3rd and 4th song in the first service, and then we had that service, which like turns out I was really long as well.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, you know what? I bet Jared's going to cut back because he knows how long I am. And then you were even longer in the second service with that rant in between song 3 and 4. And I was like, that is so funny to me. That is like, you know what I'm going to do? This service is pretty long. You know what I'm going to do to help it? I'm going to make it longer.
I don't think of stuff like that. I
loved it. It was so funny. And I was actually sitting in service. I was sitting beside Hope, which is my favorite place to get ready to preach. She's one of our elders here. Actually, I was sitting beside her husband, Dean. But I like sitting there in that little spot. And I remember actually laughing laughing to myself when you were doing this, because I'm going,
come on,
it was long. It was long the first time, bro. So I mean, he got into all kinds of stuff. It was fun though.
Yeah, it was good. Alrighty, man. We're talking about football today,
and that may be the other reason why I'm excited is Buffalo Chicken Dip. We're talking about football.
Yeah,
I don't have to sit here and talk about the Old Testament for. I haven't done a non-Bible podcast
since the ice cream one, but that was like a group one. But that was like a recap.
That one made me sick.
I know, dude. I was way too much sugar.
Way too much. But I haven't done a non-Bible podcast since sometime last year.
Was it Shoes Part 2?
Maybe that was earlier this year.
I don't know.
I'm going to take this bite, though, that I've been showing the camera for quite some time.
I know, dude. It's already getting cold. But anyways, yeah, we're getting into football. We're going to talk some college football. We're going to talk about your Miami Dolphins. I don't have a team that I follow in the NFL, but...
What? We're going to get into that.
Yeah, we will, sure. Right. But anyways, And I'll give you some reasons why I don't follow a team.
I know, because you're from Texas. There's not any teams there, so.
No, yeah. Why would I subject myself to torture and punishment from the rest of the world by being a Cowboys fan?
It was so funny. I was listening to something on ESPN this morning, and it was probably Stephen A. Smith or somebody like that was saying that they saw a kid in a Cowboys shirt and thought that was a form of abuse.
For real. It's just, I mean, you hold it, I don't know. I mean, I know there's hope for the hopeless, but that's only found in Jesus, not in Dallas Cowboy football.
Yeah. Being from Texas, I'm really glad that you're not a Dallas fan.
Yeah. It's just.
Dallas fans, Yankee fans, Ohio State fans, some of the most difficult people on the face of the earth.
Yep.
To deal with.
I agree.
Oddly enough, Cheryl laughed because her husband is a fan of all three of those teams. Actually, I didn't realize that until I just said it. Those are rough fan bases.
Yeah,
reminds me actually of the Cincinnati Reds fans around here. Every year's our year, man. Every year, it's like, come on, guys, this is not the '90s.
Yeah,
you all are not. You're not any good. So the best thing about being a Cubs fan when it comes to like baseball is I don't expect us to be any good. We were so bad for so long. Every year is not our year. But, like, the Reds fans around here, this is going to be the year, man. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Just face reality. It's not.
It's just like Texas A&M football.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got some pretty delusional fans, but, you know, I like them. They're my team, and I'm going to root for them regardless. But, good God almighty, do we need a new head coach? I know that this is like a tough subject with West Virginia folks because Jimbo Fisher is from West Virginia.
Yeah.
But
we would gladly take him.
You would take him over Neil Brown and what he's doing right now?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you
this.
I
am not I have been very vocal. Not that anyone gives a crap what I have to say about anything, really.
Yeah.
I'm not a Neil Brown fan.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he's a nice guy and changed the culture from what it was to a more maybe family friendly,
a
little bit cleaner look than what it was. But I'm not a fan of his coaching at all.
Yeah, well, West Virginia don't have $80-something million to buy out Jimbo's contract with all of his guaranteed money that he's got, which is absurd, and he's just ripping them off. But I'm kind of glad that we have a bye week this week because
you're not going to lose.
Yeah, I'm not going to be let down. Yeah. I mean, that's just the truth of the matter.
Did you see WVU's game last Thursday?
Yeah. We're getting into that. Don't worry.
I was going to say, I'm down. We know here in West Virginia all too well about disappointment.
Yes. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Whenever we were playing Tennessee this past weekend, and we got really close, and we should have gone for it. And we tried to kick a field goal. And it's like with a minute left, and we should have had an opportunity to tie it up. But instead we kick a field goal. Like, who in their right mind does this? Because we already have proven that we've got poor clock time management skills. And we can't do it. We've burned through all of our timeouts already. And we've got 2.5 minutes left in the game. So what do? We try to kick a field goal. And then we try to kick an onside kick to think that we're going to pull this one out. But, I mean, we just couldn't do it, and it was dumb. And so we have just had terrible coaching after terrible coaching. And the thing that frustrates me the most, too, about this whole Jimbo Fisher situation with him being the head coach there is that Kevin Sumlin, the guy who was there before Jimbo Fisher, who's now the coach of, like, University of Houston or something like that. I don't know. He could have moved on to something else.
He's not at Houston. That's where Dana Holgerson's at.
But Kevin Sumlin's record while he was at A&M was 51-26, and he never went below 8 losses in a season. So he always was like 8-4, 93, 10-2, which, hey, we're in a bowl every single year. The seasons that we're going 10-2, like we're playing for something that's a little bit better. But Jimbo Fisher's record since he's been at A&M has been 43-24. You can't get excited about bringing somebody like Jimbo Fisher to West Virginia and you pay him all this stupid money and he goes 43-24.
I would be very excited about that.
No.
He's doing that in the SEC. Did A&M used to be in the Big 12, right?
Yes.
Yeah. See, they should have never left.
Well, here's the thing.
I know they went for probably money purposes. They should have never left.
Yeah.
A&M's records would be drastically different playing in the Big 12.
100%.
Yeah. You guys went and played in the SEC where you don't belong. And that's what Texas – I know Texas and Oklahoma Texas beat Alabama this year.
Yeah.
This is not going to be a regular occurrence.
No.
Texas and Oklahoma went from dominating the Big 12 to going to – ultimately, you're going to be competing with all of those people. It's not going to be good for them.
No, the only thing I'm looking forward to is playing the Longhorns every year again, just because of that rivalry. It's like the third longest in college football, but I don't know. I'm tired of the experiment that is Jimbo Fisher. And they hired on our new offensive coordinator, Bobby Petrino, this year. And our offensive line is a joke. I mean, we keep on letting people come and put pressure on the quarterback. And we've got our second-string quarterback in there because Connor Weigman hurt his ankle and all this other stuff. But ultimately, it all comes down to coaching, making adjustments, learning how to do time management. It's just... I think that we qualify for bowl season. I think that we go more than 6. We get 6 wins because we're 4-3 right now, I think. But it's just going to be something like the 2000 Flushes Bowl. That's what it is. It's going to just be something worthless and pointless and whatever. All right, let's get into WVU.
Yeah.
I did my homework.
Panera.
Cookies.
Cookies. Compliments of Anna's mom for pastor appreciation.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're stinking amazing too.
That brownie in there looks incredible.
It is, but you need a cup of milk.
It looks like I'm not going to eat that on this podcast.
No, you'll be passed out.
Anyone that was watching live would immediately turn off.
Yeah. Yep, getting into to WVU, that was a tough loss against University of Houston. Tough loss.
That is the epitome of being a WVU fan.
Yeah?
No. Because, most of us, we would have rather them not came back at all from the 11-point deficit.
Yeah.
Just to break our hearts.
Oh, I know.
But it's also, you come off 2 really big wins that nobody really expected out of you. And then you go up against someone that you should dominate because Houston's not good. Mm-hmm. And you do that. Right, it's very frustrating because the offense finally showed up, and the defense, which has been so solid, they couldn't stop that quarterback to save their life. So that was incredibly frustrating. But it's like when it comes to West Virginia sports, they will create new ways to break your heart.
Yep.
So scoring a touchdown with 12 seconds left, and somehow that not being good enough to win. That's a new one for West Virginia fans, but it's just par for the course.
Yeah. Yeah, that Hail Mary as time was expiring was, it's exactly what it is, a Hail Mary, just a shot in the dark.
Should never happen.
Yeah.
It's silliness. Again, coaching, I would have had my 6'7" tight end back there.
Yeah.
Biggest person on the field. Just, hey, go to the goal line. When you see it go up, go stand in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's it. Instead, they don't make any big changes like that, and somehow you give up a 50-yard pass as time expires. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, you got some things to look forward to this week. Y'all play Oklahoma State, and even though West Virginia hasn't won against Oklahoma State at home since 2013. I honestly think that they pull out the win this weekend.
I do too.
Because right now Oklahoma State they're probably the worst, they're just a mess underneath this head coach. I don't know that they've got it figured out. I don't know that it's just they're playing terribly. And I think that they pull off the W against Oklahoma State.
I do too. The offense started clicking last week. Defense has already been good. I think they put it all together because they're probably pretty upset.
Yeah.
Coming off of last week.
And it's homecoming.
Yeah. Is it at WVU?
Yeah.
Yeah. In Morgantown, they're gonna bounce back.
Yep. Y'all be singing Country Roads as time expires for sure.
I told you that was good, but the more I drink that, that's not very good.
But here's the thing. They have to continue to play with a sense of urgency. That's one of the things that West Virginia, whenever they play with urgency the whole game, the whole time through, then they play amazing football. Like, it's good stuff. Like, their defense is always going to be really good, but offense has got to continue to play with a sense of urgency. And I honestly think that the first team to 10 in this game is going to win it, because West Virginia is going to get really deflated and think that history is going to continue to repeat itself since 2013, and just any kind of momentum that you thought that you had going in there as the Mountaineers with that tough loss from last week. I mean, you just got to play with a sense of urgency the whole time through.
These cookies are incredible. They're a touchdown.
Oh God!
Oh, there you go,
dude. Stop! Don't do that.
Yeah, I think Morgantown will make the difference.
Yeah, I think so too.
I am, even though I'm not a Neil Brown fan, I am like, they're 4-2. They were supposed to be last in the conference.
Yeah.
That's what I think what happened is they got projected to be last. So they're like, you know what, we're not the worst team in this conference. We're going to go show everybody. Then they went and showed everybody and ended up 4-1.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, now we're going to take on lowly Houston. And they thought too much of themselves, where they were fighting from an underdog position for those first two Big 12 wins.
Yeah.
Where they weren't this time. It was kind of like, I know we're going to get to the Dolphins, but the Dolphins had the same exact sort of thing.
Yep.
Throw 70 up on the Broncos and then turn around and get, just meleeed by Buffalo the next week.
Yeah.
Like, you start reading your own news clippings too much. You start thinking a little bit too much, like, about yourself, thinking that you're bigger than you really are. That's why I love sports.
Yeah.
Somebody will knock you down. It's like, have you seen what's going on in the Major League Baseball postseason right now?
Yeah.
Like,
people that thought were shoo-ins to go all the way to the World Series are not even.
I mean, the Braves had like a historic season and got knocked out in the first round that they played in.
Yep.
Like, unbelievable. Like, that the Diamondbacks, who consequently was the team that put my Cubs out of it, are in the championship series.
Yeah.
Like, to go to the World Series. They barely made it in. They were out literally up until the last 3 days of the season when they overtook Chicago.
Yeah.
And now they need to win 4 games. I think they're down 0-1 right now. But that's the beautiful thing about sports. Really, that's just – I think it's a beautiful thing about life is that when you – think too much about yourself and you get a little bit of that big head, life has a humbling thing in it that it has a tendency to knock you down.
Yeah.
I heard this one thing one time that, like, for really proud people, like, you've got 2 options. You can be humble or you can go the route of humiliation. One way or another, you're going to get knocked down a peg. Right? And I mean, you can choose whichever one. I would choose the humble route. And I think that's what happened to W against Houston.
Yeah.
Thought too much of themselves, too big for their britches, and went down there and lost one that they shouldn't have. So they bounce back big this week.
Yep, I think so. I've got some predictions for the rest of the year, too, for WVU. I think they lose at UCF. They're going play there, and I don't know if you've seen any kind of footage about their stadium. It's called the Bounce House.
Oh, yeah?
This
is a new team to the Big 12, so I'm not super familiar with them.
Yeah, I think they lose. It's a tough place to play at. It's just like Kyle Field, Texas A&M. It's rowdy, it's raucous, and dude, just throw it away. But I think they lose. I think they lose to Oklahoma as well.
They're going to get slaughtered by Oklahoma.
Yeah, because they're playing in Norman.
I actually think the Oklahoma game is the only one that they lose the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Even though that breaks my heart because that means – and I know it sounds weird for, like, pastor / Christian to, like, root for someone to lose their job. Neil Brown's going to get another coaching job, okay? But if they win 9 games this year, he's definitely not going to get fired for like 3 years, which stinks. He's probably going to get a contract renewal in the process. So that doesn't bode well for me, but I still think they're going to win 8 or 9 games. He's going to save his job. I think they might win out.
I think they lose against,
other than Oklahoma.
I think they lose to UCF. I think they lose to Oklahoma because they have never ever won a game.
No, but they play Oklahoma so tough, even though they've never been able to get over the hump.
Yeah.
This ain't going to be the year. This Oklahoma team's ridiculous. If that Oklahoma team beat Texas and Texas beat Alabama, that Oklahoma team's legit.
Yeah.
This ain't going to be the year, but I think they run the table outside of Oklahoma. They go to a nothing bowl, which is better than the actual nothing bowl that Neil took them to previously.
Yeah, I think the Mountaineers finished the season 8-4, possibly 9-3 if they could pull it off against UCF. But I think I think what it comes down to is that there's not enough NIL deals to get a whole bunch of out-of-state kids to come and make money while they're playing college football.
Yeah,
I mean that's essentially what it is.
Yeah, it's all about money.
All right. So we're getting to the NFL. You ready for this? You're gonna laugh.
This is where my expertise lies.
Yeah.
For this year.
Okay, you ready? This is easily the best game on the schedule this week, and that's mostly because it takes me back to my childhood, right? It takes me back to my childhood whenever these two teams played in the Super Bowl. Wait, don't say anything. Can't remember all the details of the game, but I'm pretty sure a former Dolphins kicker kidnapped Dan Marino and the team mascot at one point, only to be fooled by a pet detective who later picked a fight with the Eagles mascot. I thought you would be super proud of me of that because that's literally the plot line of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Yeah, same two teams this Sunday night. I'm very excited to finally because okay. Can I just, if you're listening, if you're still with us on this football podcast, let me show you how to be a realistic fan. Because like unrealistic fans, like Cowboys fans and Reds fans, this is why I don't care much for them.
Are they the ones that like paint their face and wear them big foam hats and have like the Mardi Gras beads?
It's just the ones that think like that. They just don't deal in reality. Here's the reality: is Miami is a very good offensive team. They are not good defensively, and so therefore I think that they're going to lose Sunday night.
You think the Dolphins are? I think they're going to win.
I think that they're going to lose Sunday night, and here's why. This past weekend, the final 2 undefeated teams in the NFL lost to subpar teams. But the reason why that happened was those subpar teams have great defenses, though. Defenses can keep you in a game, and offense can't. Yeah. An offense cannot keep – like, this is what they learned in that Buffalo game. They go and throw 70 on Denver, and everyone's thinking, oh, my gosh, these guys are just going to go up and down the field every Sunday. Like, there's not going to be any stopping them. Well, Buffalo had no issue stopping them, held them to 20 points. They're averaging almost 40 a game, mainly because they've got a 70 on there. They don't play good enough defense yet. I think by the end of the year, they could be there. That's why I think that they're going to lose. Going to Philly is hard.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone knows. Philadelphia has some of the most ruthless fans in all of sports.
Yep.
The city is already fired up because it looks like the Phillies are probably headed to the World Series.
Yeah.
They're just coming off of an embarrassing loss.
What are they, 2-0, Phillies?
They're either up 1-0 or 2-0.
I think they're 2-0.
I think they're up 2-0, so they may, by Sunday, have the series wrapped up. They're going to be fired up. The whole city's going to be fired up. They're coming off of a loss to a really bad, yes, the Jets' defense is fantastic. But they didn't even have their best cornerback out there. Sauce Gardner wasn't playing. Aaron Rodgers is out. Zach Wilson kept them in the game. That's crazy. They're going to be coming off of that and ready for blood.
Yeah.
And Miami has some injury concerns.
Oh, yeah.
On the offensive line right now. And Philly is going to have their best pass rusher back. It sounds like I think he was gone last week. I think it's close, but I think that they lose on primetime.
I think they pull it out. I think it's going to be a shootout. I don't know what the over and under is for points scored in the game, but I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and I think that as long as the offensive line can give Tua enough time to make some decisions, I think they win it.
Yeah,
I think that's. I think,
and I don't mean a realistic fan like being pessimistic either. I don't think if this game were in Miami, where we're 15-2 in the last 17 home games, I would think differently. I would think, yeah, we're going to get the best of Philly here. Going there on Sunday night. Yeah, that is a really, really tall task.
Yeah.
If they were still undefeated, I would feel better going into this game.
Well,
coming off a loss, you just get that angst of last week, if you watched Miami playing Carolina, Miami was down 14-0 in the blink of an eye. Now, thankfully, Carolina's the worst team in football.
Yeah.
So you come back and you beat them 42-21, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
You decide to sleep through the first quarter in Philadelphia, you're not coming back. That defense is not going to let you score 42 points in 3 quarters. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's what worries me about this team is that there's that tendency for them to just like give up a lot. I mean, they let C.J. Stroud just abuse them for a whole quarter, and it's like, what do you think
Philadelphia is going to do?
Yeah, what do you think Jalen Hurts is going to do to you?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think that those guys are going to do? And they have the defense to stop you. So that's what worries me about Miami. That's why I'm not thinking – I don't think that this is the year for Miami to win the Super Bowl or even go to the Super Bowl. That'd be super cool. As a Dolphins fan, I never thought it would happen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Ever. So it's super cool that they're at least even in the conversation. But they need another year with this defensive coordinator to learn his scheme before they're going to be ready, I think, to take that next step. I think that they make the playoffs. I think that they maybe even win a game, but I think that they fall a little bit short because of their defense. Now,
yeah.
We'll see what happens when Jalen Ramsey comes back, hopefully in November. That could change a lot.
Yeah.
But they're giving up too many yards, too many points for me to think that they can – all their wins have been against bad teams.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they beat the Chargers. The Chargers aren't a bad team, but they have a really bad record.
Yeah.
And then other than that, they beat the Giants. They're terrible. They beat Carolina. They're terrible.
Yeah.
They beat the Patriots. The Patriots are as bad as they've ever been.
Did you see that video of Bill Belichick smashing that tablet?
Yeah. So they don't have a single good win. Like Chargers, Patriots, Carolina, Giants. Who was the fifth one? It was I'm drawing a blank, but they haven't beat a good team. The one time that they played a good team, they got absolutely smoked.
Yeah.
So that
who do you think are the two teams that make it to the Super Bowl?
I think San Francisco is a very scary team.
Yeah.
Even though they just lost to the Browns, casual football fans don't know this. The Browns are the number one defense in football.
Yeah.
So when San Francisco has to go to Cleveland, it's cold, it's windy. That's the type of game Cleveland wants to play. That has a tendency to happen. Plus, one of the best kickers in all of football just shanked a kick, or else we wouldn't even be talking about San Francisco as losing.
Yeah.
Jake Moody, who comes from my second favorite, sometimes my favorite college football team, the Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah.
Is one of the best kickers in football. He was the best kicker in college football last year.
Yeah.
He misses a kick by, a foot, essentially, whenever it goes by. He didn't miss it by much. Brock Purdy led them right down the field, put them in position to win. What they did to Dallas 2 weeks ago, which warmed my heart to watch Dallas just take a pounding like that, that should have made everyone in the NFL very scared.
Yeah.
That's okay. This is what they're capable of. If you got to go to San Francisco, and deal with that, that's going to be. San Francisco plays in a bad division, so there's no divisional opponents that are going to stand up to them whatsoever. I mean, they are going to steamroll the rest of this season. They're going to be the number one. They're going to be the 1 seed. I know everyone. Maybe the Lions are the 1 seed just because they also play in a bad division, and it's kind of cool to see the Lions as a good football team.
Yeah.
Because in our lifetime, has that? I know they had Barry Sanders. But
yeah. They were exciting to watch because of Barry Sanders, but it wasn't.
I don't think that they were like Super Bowl contenders ever. So it's kind of cool to see some of the like Miami, who even when Marino was there, like not any Super Bowl wins.
Yeah.
Like Miami hasn't won a playoff game in 2 decades.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see like Miami is good. It's cool to see the Detroit is good. Like I like the changing of the guard a little bit. Like in that NFC North, like it's always been Green Bay for as long as Aaron Rodgers has been there, and then Favre before that.
Yeah.
A little bit of the Vikings, and now it's like Detroit stepping up. In our division, like it's been the Patriots.
Yeah.
And the Patriots are just getting – I mean, if you're a Dolphins fan, watching the Patriots get beat is one of the greatest joys in life.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they have been getting epically beat.
Well,
it's awesome.
And New England fans, they're pretty pretentious because they had the greatest of all time.
When you're that good for 2 decades, that's what happens.
Yeah. I mean, whenever you win 6 Super Bowls within 10 years or whatever it was, it's like that's – of course, you can't be pretentious, but yeah.
So the game this weekend, I hope it's a good game because the last time they played a good team, it wasn't a good game.
Yeah,
that Buffalo game was like, close your eyes, look away.
Mm-hmm.
It's just terrible. Like this, just not good.
Yeah. So whenever it comes to like NFL teams, like the reason why I don't have an NFL team is because I grew up in Louisiana. Like we moved out of Louisiana at 14, but goodness, in the late 80s, early 90s, it was the Saints. I mean, that's all that was on television. Which, you know, like Drew Brees and Sean Payton, the coach or the old coach. Or is he still there? I don't even know.
No, Payton's in Denver.
Yeah. And so, like, it was cool to see them win the Super Bowl that one year. And, you know, kudos to that. But moving to Texas, and then all you see is all this cowboy stuff every time you go into Walmart and Academy and all these other different stores and stuff, and it's just like their shirts and everything is just so vanilla. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, and I like vanilla ice cream. Don't get me wrong, but just like vanilla style of clothes, and I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want to wear that. I mean, it just looks stupid. It looks dumb. Right. But I like watching football, and I'm glad that I don't have a team that I root for. It's more like individuals. Like I like to see certain people play. Like I like watching Patrick Mahomes, like quarterback, because he's great.
Because he's the best player in football.
Yeah.
Like, until somebody knocks him off, that he is the best player in football. Period.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yep. Are you ready for a mystery meat? It'll be quick.
Sweet. I'm down with that.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you, Lord Jesus.
Baloney.
If you could be the best in the world at something, what would it be?
Playing baseball. You were waiting on me to elaborate?
Yeah,
I was going to hold you to that short and sweet thing.
I don't know. Dude, I don't see. Here's the thing. The thing that comes to my mind whenever I get questions like this, I'm like, I want to be the best singer, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't really care. Like, I want to do something that makes people laugh. Like, how awesome would that be if you hired me and then you find out that I'm the world's best tap dancer or something, and I'm just tapping up and down the hallways.
I would hate that. I would hate every second of that. Like the world's best comedian would be fun.
Oh yeah.
I think that's Nate Bargatze right now. And I think just listening to his life through his podcast is it's so cool to me to listen to it because you can just tell this is just some good dude from Tennessee, came from humble beginnings, worked his butt off to get where he's at, and every time that he goes and plays an arena now, it's
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
here.
It's this is just, it's crazy. Yeah. And it's he just wants to bring his friends along for the ride. That looks fun. That looks like a fun thing.
Well, not so much, because if you look at the other side of this, and this may change your tune, is they sleep in a lot of hotels.
Yeah, that. Well, honestly, what would change my tune would be
if
be
you're
the
the
best at anything.
Yeah,
is hard work.
100%.
Hard work, and I think that's why most people never fully find their potential. Is we think that we're working hard, but like, let's be honest, like we got a lot of time that we could be honing skills if we're, if we wanted to be the best at blank. Like, it takes a lot of hard work. So to be the best and then to stay the best, that's what I was thinking about. Like comedy, like could you write 1 hour that is like epic? Yes. But then it's what you do after. Like for him,
well, they release like it's like an 18 to 24 month time frame in between. So they like work on this on their next hour special for the next 18 to 24 months.
Like for Nate, the Tennessee Kid was unbelievable.
Is that the one that they did on Amazon?
That was the first one on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
So Tennessee Kid was the first one that really hit big. Like he had like little small specials. Like he had a Comedy Central Presents, and he had some albums and such before that. But the first big one was Tennessee Kid, and it hit Netflix in the middle of COVID. And I mean, this dude's life has changed forever now.
Yeah.
But I think most people can write an hour that would be good enough for a special. But it's once you have all those people's attention, what do you do in the next hour?
Yeah.
Right? And that's he was able to write another one and then another one. And he's on his third special. That's the one that came out on Amazon.
Yeah.
And then he's already got new material he's been touring with for months now.
Yeah.
So it's like that right there has to be – because we were talking about preaching to start this whole thing, like trying to come up with fresh content every 7 days to come preach to the same group of people every week.
Yeah.
That is a really difficult thing to do.
Well, we would hope it would be something close to the same people every week. If you showed up every week.
But that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And so like whenever I see like comedians, and it's like they work on that stuff meticulously for a year, and then as soon as they throw a special out, start all over, right?
Yeah.
Start all over. And so that is really, really hard work. So if I said I want to be the best baseball player, that would take a lot of work.
Oh yeah, yep, I agree. Well, I enjoyed it. Did you like my reference, my Ace Ventura reference?
Yeah, I did.
Was it good?
I'm going to be thinking about that on Sunday night when this happens.
Yeah,
to see if there's a fight going on the sideline. But I'm excited for that game. My life group gets over right at 7, which is when the pregame coverage starts.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be pretty amped up on Sunday for it, because this is we can talk about this another time, but it makes me upset that the Dolphins. I get it, when they were bad, they didn't get on TV very much.
Yeah.
But like the last couple of years, they've been good, and they still are just barely ever on TV.
Yeah.
Like this past Monday Night Football, like really?
Yeah, wasn't it like some stupid
The Chargers were like 1-5.
Yeah.
How did they get on Monday Night Football? The Sunday night game?
Yeah.
The Giants?
Yeah.
The Giants were 1-4.
Yeah.
Why are they the the NFL commissioner has the ability to flex games into primetime if they're going to be good games.
Because that's his job, is to make sure that the league gets more money.
Like if the Giants want to play on primetime, they should have to win some games.
Yeah.
Like every game that's on TV should be the top talent in the league going at each other.
Yeah.
It should not be the Giants and Buffalo, which ended up being an ugly game. It was a close game, but it shouldn't have been, because Buffalo is so much better than them.
You know the reason why they do that is so they could sell you the NFL Red Zone or whatever.
I guess so. It makes me so mad, though, because like the Dolphins are good. Like some of their games, more games than what they've got tabbed for primetime right now. I think they've only got 3 or 4 primetime games this whole year out of 17. They're gonna be one of the top. And there's 3 times a week, really 4 times a week, that you have an opportunity to put them on TV.
Yeah.
And so there's 8 teams a week getting to play out of 32 teams. And you're going to tell me that one of the top teams in the league doesn't make it on there more than 4 times? That's lunacy. Like the Dolphins, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Niners, and the Cowboys should be on TV every game that they play.
Because they're the biggest draws.
That's it. They're the best teams in the NFL right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was, what was it, Monday Night Football last week was like the Raiders and somebody that nobody gave a crap about. It's like, why are y'all doing this to us?
Yeah.
Show us the good teams. Tell me that you don't want to see Tua and Tyreek go for 600 yards and 8 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Of course you do. Nobody wants to see the Giants just slog it up and down the field, boring as all get out. So I'm excited that the Dolphins are actually on TV.
Yeah.
They should get more airtime. That's my final rant. Thank you.
Well, if you stuck with this long, thank you for sticking around.
You're a true fan.
You are a true fan, and you should wear your Pastor's Potluck podcast jersey. We should do that. We should get some made.
T-shirts?
Yeah.
We should make them look like the tablecloth.
Yeah, I know.
That would be the ugliest shirt in the history of the world.
What bowling team are you with?
You could only wear that with overalls.
Yeah, and a straw hat. All righty. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you next Friday. Y'all have a good weekend. Thank you so much for listening in with us today. We really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram. And you can also watch the video version of this on YouTube as well. All you have to do is search up the Pastor's Potluck Podcast. From all of us here, we want to say thank you, and we'll see you next week.